We're ready, Mr. Chair.
All right, let's call this one to order 7:33. Get a roll call.
Yes, Mr. Chair, members of the DRB, Gabriel Slater is here from PDSD. He's in training, so he's going to help us run the meeting this morning. So, Gabriel, can you please share your screen with the agenda?
Yes, it can. Yeah.
Just zoom in.
Okay. So do I just begin the roll call?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Roll call. Paige Anthony.
Present.
Rosemary Bright. Not present. Carol Clement.
Present.
Grace Shao.
Present.
Chris Steeb.
Yeah, I'm here.
So we have quorum, Mr. Chair.
All right, let's go get a review and approval of the minutes. Need a motion and to approve those.
This is Carol. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Here, second.
Yeah, this is Grace. I'll second the motion.
All right, all those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none. Sounds like we're good on that one.
Right.
Do we still have call of the audience on here? Yes. So if there's anyone on this call or on this Zoom or in person that it's not affiliated with this case or affiliated with this board or the city of Tucson that would like to have a few minutes to speak to the board, now's your chance. Hearing none, let's move on to case 4 or item number 4.
Should I just kick it off here?
Let's allow Gabriel to do an introduction of the project.
Okay. Members of the board, introducing item 4 is case SD 0524-00046. Case is the Circle K at I-10 in Congress. The related activity number is shown. The address is 2 North Freeway. The site has C3 and I-1 zoning and is being presented for RNA review. Kimley Horn and Associates, on behalf of the property owner Circle K Stores, is proposing the redevelopment of the existing gas station and convenience store on a 1.88 acre site. The proposal includes the construction of a new 23-foot high, 5,200 square foot building and one 18-foot, 6-inch high, 2,448 square foot fuel canopy structure. The site is located within the Rio Nuevo area overlay zone, necessitating design review. The DRB's purview, in accordance with UDC 2.2.6.c.14 and 5.12.7.f.3, the DRB reviews and forwards a recommendation for all requests in the Rio Nuevo area to the Planning and Development Services Director, as provided in the UDC. And formulating its recommendation, the DRB shall apply the design standards in the UDC, which are included in attachment A for reference. Do I just go ahead and show the plans?
Maria, do we have a staff summary at all?
No, that's pretty much the intro, Mr. Chair, members of the DRB. The applicant can show can share his screen or her screen and walk us through the project with more detail, if that's okay with you.
Yes, yeah, happy to. Let me share my screen here. As a quick introduction, my name is Joseph Kafari. I am the Public Involvement Manager for the Southwest region. I am with Kimley Horn. We are the design engineering consultants on this project, working with Circle K. and variety of others in the development of the Circle K property. As Gabriel mentioned, the intention of this proposed development is to bring the existing Circle K located at the site into a more aesthetically pleasing facility with enhanced services and to meet current Circle K standards. Because this is in the Rio Nuevo area zone, this is why we are meeting with you all this morning and appreciate your time. And with that, we will go into the presentation. So as an initial project overview and to introduce the development team, Circle K Stores is proposing the redevelopment of the existing gas station and convenience store located on an existing 1.88 acre site. The new proposal here includes the construction of a new 23-foot high, 5,200 square foot store and one 18.5-foot high, 2,448 square foot fuel canopy structure. The site is located within the RNA overlay zone. Circle K is the owner and operator of this parcel and facility. Kimley Horn is providing the civil engineering and site design. RDC Collaborative is doing the building architecture. GRS Landscape Architecture is providing the landscape design and the shade study. And Atwell LLC is the third-party project manager on this. So 5 different companies and staff working on this project. To give us some context, the facility is located at the northwest corner of Interstate 10 and East Congress Street, pretty much on the western edge of the downtown area, just east of the freeway. Pretty vital service corridor through there, coming from the freeway and along Congress Street. Heavily trafficked and heavily busy, a very used facility. The existing site is shown in the picture on the left there. Again, located at the northeast corner, it is zone C3 and I1. It currently encompasses 3 different parcels. It is providing a Circle K convenience store and 2 fuel canopy structures. Those now include 3 pump stations and 6 bays within them. The proposed site would have a completely different layout, meeting those new Circle K standards and requirements. Again, a 5,200 square foot building / store would be in place. We would be converting those 2 fuel canopies into 1 fuel canopy, make it a lot more streamlined and traffic flow easier to get in and out of those bays, and reducing the pedestrian impact potential through that cross-drive traffic as well. The new site will include 26 parking spaces. 2 of those will be ADA compliant near the front door. Bicycle racks will be installed, and this is important because we will also be establishing a new connection with the El Paso Southwest Gas Greenway, located to the east of this site. That greenway is heavily trafficked by multimodal users, pedestrians, runners, bikers. This would provide them a bike rack, drinking water fountain, sidewalk connections to the greenway and to Congress Street as well. The trash can will have an enclosure around it, preventing theft or stealing or depositing of any illegal substances through there as well. Lighting and security will be upgraded at the site, and overall aesthetically pleasing, meeting the desert tone facade, matching those Circle K standards. Another important aspect will be cleaning up those parcel lines, so taking those 3 parcels, converting it into 1, which makes it easier on the owner side and on the city side as well. So just picture that there is a big parking garage and some mountains in the background. And that's pretty much what we're looking at in this rendering of what the new Circle K store would be looking like. This is the building facade. It's something that we're most likely all familiar with, driving past these Circle K stations. This is essentially what would be built on site. That's kind of an overview. If you would like to see some of the colored tones, the palettes are located down at the bottom. Those keynotes represent those color palettes. But again, matching that kind of desert tone, earth tone, really blended in with the surrounding area as much as possible. This is the typical standard Circle K sign / monument, which would be located on the property as well. Again, picture some parking garages and mountains in the background, and we're, rendering what it would look like in Tucson. But really to highlight this is the fuel canopy aspect. The new fuel canopy will include 4 fuel pumps with 2 dispensers on each side, meaning that there's 8 bays. So adding an additional 2 bays from what's previously on site and streamlining those operations. The canopy height max will be about 18.5 feet. That's at the very top, and 15.5 feet at its lowest point. Recessed lighting will be implemented and directed downwards. This provides dark sky compliance and nighttime safety and security, as this facility would operate 24/7. Landscaping and shade. Through that landscaping will be provided. Our landscape architect provided some calculations here. The required shade on site is 1711, and we would be meeting it with 1790 square feet of tree shade canopy. That is over the 50% needed. Trees on site will be incorporated from the low water use drought tolerant plant list. It will be all natural and native plants throughout the site. These have been strategically located to provide visual buffers from the frontage road and from Congress Street, as well as areas surrounding the building as well. Those trees are highlighted all throughout with these circle diagrams. The traffic into and out of the facility will maintain existing conditions. So those existing driveway configurations coming off of the frontage road and from East Congress Street will be retained. These will be the same traffic patterns that people are historically used to. Site visibility has been taken into consideration. So nothing can be planted that is over 30 inches or taller than 30 inches within view corridors. So that allows for drivers to see, and pedestrians, to minimize those conflict points at those ingress and egress locations. I've included some arrows to show the turning capabilities. Frontage road, you'll be able to turn right. And then exiting the facility, you will be able to turn right. If you made a left, you're going the wrong way on a frontage road, and that's not good overall. So, and then on Congress Street, we would maintain the right in, right out, as well as left in, left out. And with that, I will open it up to any questions.
Members of the board, I'm also prepared to share attachment A, the Rio Nueva design criteria, if you'd like to refer to that in your discussion.
Could I ask the host of the meeting? We have our landscape architect, Greg Shin, that says he's waiting to enter the meeting. Does somebody have a button they can click to let him in?
The Microsoft Teams is not set up to allow hosts. Anybody can access.
Maybe he's clicking on the wrong thing.
Maybe he's clicking on the wrong thing.
Okay, I'll get on.
You can forward the appointment to him.
Okay, I can do that. Thank you.
Yes, this is Carol Clement. Mr. Applicant, could you share with us your grading drainage plan?
Ken, I will need to, let me stop sharing for a second while
you find it? Sure.
Yeah, while I bring that up.
And while you're there, I'll the planting plan as well. I'd like to look a little bit more closely at that if you don't mind.
Yeah, I have the development package and the design
Okay.
package that I'm
Yeah,
bringing
that
up
would
right
do
now.
it. Thank you. Maybe in the meantime, you could share
Yeah.
Gabriel, the criteria for the Rio Nuevo, just so we can review it. I don't know
Absolutely.
who's gonna. Oh, okay. Let me see if I can.
And I do have it up when we're ready for that.
Erin, I just forwarded the appointment to Gregory, so maybe he'll be able to join in.
Okay, thank you. He's going to try, and if for some reason he can't get in, I know that he's in the field today. I can field the landscape architecture questions too.
Okay, and he can also dial in by phone. There's the phone
Okay.
numbers.
Okay.
He just won't have the visual.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna text him, so in case you guys see me on my phone, that's what I'm doing.
Okay, thanks.
Gabriel, could you scroll so I can continue reading? Thank you. That's good. That's good. Building shall.
It's usually the more kind of typical urban stuff,
Yeah.
outdoor lighting, they creating a plaza or a patio or 24-hour, vibe to the space, or the shade study is usually a big sticking point on these.
Yeah, it looks like they got it.
Yeah,
Is
just swinging by that. So maybe that's a topic we talk about later.
Yeah, I can't remember, maybe one of the members of the committee, is there certain specific criteria for grading and drainage?
There
I
isn't
think-
usually. We usually have a discussion about it, but it's not a
Okay.
specific criteria that
Okay.
we handle.
Thank
And
you, Chris.
just a reminder, Carol, they are in the middle of the development plan process. So grading and drainage, they will be required to meet the City of Tucson water harvesting criteria. So that part of the project is valid on this, and that to get a permit, they're going to have to meet those criteria. They may not
Thank you.
have that information currently, but before they get a permit, they'll have to show that they meet that.
Okay, could you keep scrolling, Gabriel? Thank you. I mean, it sort of, did people catch that plaza? Go back up. Sorry, Gabriel. There, number 3. 5% of the gross floor area of new construction shall be provided in public plazas or courtyards. Applicant, did you implement that?
I'm gonna,
I think I can jump in on
yeah, I
this
was gonna
one, Joe.
hand it over. Yeah.
Yeah. So we did consider this, and it's also an important part of Circle K's model. We have a couple of different things going on. We do have the outdoor seating, the picnic tables, and such that's on the north side of the building. And then we also have the enhanced landscape connection out to the greenway on the south side of the building. And all of that is connected with a wide sidewalk and available for use. That enhanced landscaping from the shade study was added a lot to those bicycle areas where we expect access coming in from the greenway. And
Okay.
then also up in that canopy or up in that outdoor seating area that's north of the building. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm sure that these areas will exceed the 5% recommendation.
Could you point out to me those enhanced picnic areas? Yeah, this is the plan. Is it the corner with your cursor? Could you point out that area? I wasn't clear on that. Is that at?
Yeah, so, and I just messed up my teams for some reason.
Here, I'll jump in.
Yeah,
Okay.
can you point to those, Joe?
Yeah, thank
so
you, Joe.
Here would be the seating
Yeah.
area,
Okay.
picnic table, and then down here
Yes.
would be bike racks, water fountain, and then connection to the greenway and
Oh, okay.
connection to the street. So
Yep.
these would be your two plaza areas throughout
Thank you.
here.
All right, thank you. All right, so perhaps we could look at the grading drainage plan unless people have other.
Yeah, this is the
Can't
grading
see.
plan here.
Okay, what I'm looking for is overall tight flow onto it. I know it will be coming from, basically from the east to the west.
Mhm. So there is a retention basin up in the northern portion of the parcel. So flows would largely flow into this section here, and then any surface runoff from the new impervious surface would be captured down in this area as well along the property lines. Those trees, again, have been strategically placed, so they would be fed by stormwater.
Right. And how wide is that retention basin approximately?
The northern one or
The one on the corner? That look, is it one of those silly skinny ones?
yeah, it's a fairly skinny. We can measure that real quick though.
That, yeah, and I know you
essentially,
have constraints, but any way to make that possibly bigger is always better on these skinny ones.
Yeah.
I understand that, Carol. We're pretty narrow, sort
Right.
of where it's at the corner of the canopy, just trying to fit.
Clear that. Mhm.
Yeah, make sure we've got enough room for the vehicles and maneuvering. And then we are able to widen out down in the round part of the right of way. And then
Okay.
we're really able to widen out there to the south. There's two calculations that go into that. We've got the drainage perspective calculation, and then we've also got the water harvesting calculation that goes into those. So we're making sure that we're meeting those requirements for
Okay.
both. Yeah,
All right.
and we're pretty flat, so we're able to get down to like 9 inches without it being just like a stupid little bottom on it.
Right.
I agree. I agree with you, Carol. We got to make something that works. So
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So these function well. I'm happy with these. We get some good volume on them.
So they're probably about 5 feet, 6 feet wide if they
Yeah.
have a 9 foot bottom.
Yeah,
inch
nine-
bottom.
9 inch, yeah.
9
inches.
9 inch
Right.
depth.
Yeah, because you, okay.
If
All
it
right,
pleases
well-
the board, I can share an aerial as well. Kind of gives it some scale with visible pedestrians.
Oh, that'd be nice. Oh. Is this existing?
This
This
is
is
this is existing.
Right, and you're.
This is existing before the storm that knocked down the canopy.
Okay, but essentially your newly constructed will be very similar to this.
It's a raise and rebuild where the store is rotated about 45 degrees. So it faces the intersection and is
right.
parallel with the greenway.
Mhm.
And then there's just the one canopy in front instead of having the
Okay.
two canopies. So that there's better vehicular movement through. Yeah.
Okay,
And there's the
And-
parking garage to the east.
correct. And those two trees along, there, are they still there? No, they got blown down. Are they existing?
I didn't check the trees.
Well,
I
let's
believe
get
it-
to we can.
It showed two existing trees along Congress.
Oh, thank you. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and those are to remain in place. And they're supplemented by the additional trees in the landscape buffer yard.
Yep. Okay, nice. I mean, you guys, it seem like you're doing everything you can to keep shade.
Mhm.
Of course.
Awesome. Yeah. All right, planting plan
Planting plan.
with species, if you don't mind.
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Gabriel, if that's you controlling the screen, can you zoom in into the planting legend?
Thank you, Maria. You have to really zoom in.
Yeah, these are tiny.
Yeah. Okay, so the Prosopis volutinus, oh no, the pistache lentiscus is the mastic tree along the sort of north-south. Prosopis volutina, okay. And oh, where are your bottle trees? Huh. Oh, I see, right in front there. Toss. Okay,
Yeah, right at the parking stalls.
right. And can you swipe so I see more of the bottom of the plan? Yeah, the south. Okay, that's good. Oh, right there on the corner. Huh. Yeah. Where the handicap sidewalk, oh, it ends there. Okay. All right. Got it. And can we go back up to the plants schedule listing and for the shrubs? I just want to read over those quickly. Can you zoom in a little bit more? Thank you. Thank you, sir. There, that's good enough. Nice, nice seed mix. I'm good with the plants. How about other people? Well, I'm not keen on the
Those look all right to me.
Bedelia. The Bedelia, the butterfly bush is an Australian native. I'm
Mhm.
one of those that is a purist, but that I'm just saying.
A pretty short plant list. But
Yeah, it's good. I mean, they're all workhorses. They're not, I think they'll survive. And could you scroll down below shrubs and accents so I can see ground covers? Oh, okay. The seed mix, okay. Yeah. I'm good with it all.
All right.
do you have any other comments, questions, conversation, or can we start moving through that checklist?
Could you, zoom in one more click, Gabriel. It's just so tiny. I'm on my small computer, so my screen is small, so it's not.
No problem.
Thank you, sir. That helps tremendously.
I'm actually still driving, so if someone else could like do a little bit of meeting leadership at this point and read through these for me, that would be extremely helpful.
Miss Anthony, Michelle, Miss Clement, do you want to walk through each?
I can do it. Okay, Chris, number 1, the proposed buildings shall respect the scale of those buildings located in the development zone and serve as an orderly transition to a different scale pursuant to section building heights with vastly, I don't think there's, I think they're building scale. I don't have any issues.
No, I think they're, I mean, the existing building's the one they're replacing, so.
Yeah, right.
Same.
Number 2 is talking about setbacks. I don't think there's any problem with setbacks. Anyone else?
So for this one, we are changing the orientation of the building, right? So we're kind of moving it farther from the street. I think one of the Rio Nuevo guidelines is about creating that connection to the street. Do we have any concerns about how we're breaking that, or that does the applicant have any thoughts about that? It's not as street focused as it was, I guess, is where I was going with
No,
that.
I did have a little flag went up for me when I looked at the drainage way along that curved walkway, and the ramp sidewalk ends and you have to take a hard right. Everybody's going to want to cut right across that drainage thing. Yeah, right down there in the lower left-hand corner as viewed. Let me see the southwest corner. I don't know. You see how that sidewalk
Cut
ends?
through the corner directly into the lot.
Yeah, they're going to want to do the diagonal to the front doors right there.
Yeah, jumping over that basin.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. It's
I don't know, just a thought. Could we bridge it? Yeah, it's clearly a problem right there. Could we bridge it in some or?
Carol, I'd like to speak to that. So we do have the sidewalk along the frontage over to our connection that's further east. We generally would rather discourage pedestrians from crossing through the fuel canopy areas. I know that folks will do what they do.
Yep.
But I wouldn't want to encourage the conflict of the pedestrians with the vehicles.
Oh, right, of course.
Yeah, we would like for them to come around to the right side and then pop up.
Right. Is
where
there
it's
going to
safer.
be a railing along that, let's just call it the southwest edge of the swale to prevent them from going through? A little railing?
Yeah, we're not proposing a railing right now. No.
DRB members, do you think that might be helpful? A railing, or is that too much?
I don't think it's necessary. I do see a gap in the planting though.
Yeah, it's like perfect.
Was there a water meter there? I think maybe on one of the other plans.
Yeah, we have a water meter, and then we also have the air water station out in that corner where the cars can park and fix their tires.
Oh, that's on the corner in that open space in the landscape plan?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what that little box is.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
it seems
okay.
heavily planted and that might help with red yucca. So that might discourage walk through on that corner. And I do actually think the orientation and the connection to the east actually provides a more direct and better pedestrian connection than the existing layout. To answer Grace's earlier question.
Yeah, I can see that. I would agree with that. It's less crossing, like Erin was saying, less conflict with the vehicles, which is also one of the criteria. So I think that makes sense.
Yeah, that's sketchy. People crossing over vehicles. Yeah. Okay. Should we go to our next checklist item? Setbacks, commercial. Oh, number 3. Number 3, all new construction shall provide scale defining architectural elements or details at the first 2 floor levels, such as windows, spandrels, awnings, porticos, cornices, pilasters, columns, and balconies. I think, any comments on this one? It's a Circle K. Pretty nice one, though.
Yeah, I think they have a good mix of planar changes, material changes at this pedestrian scale.
Yeah, I agree, Grace. Okay. Number 4. Every commercial building frontage shall provide windows. Window displays are visible within and adjacent to the building at the ground floor with a minimum of 50% of the building footage providing such features. A single plane of a facade at the street level may not be longer than 50 feet. That big center bump out, that's not longer than 50 feet with the sign on it, the wall.
It is less than 50 feet, and
Okay.
the storefront for percentage is more than 50 feet percentage wise. So we are getting a lot of sunlight, and all these projections are also helping shade the proposed storefront.
Nice. Okay. Building facade design shall include pedestrian scale, down shield, and glare controlled exterior building and window. Yeah, you're doing recessed lighting in your gas canopy. The front doors of all commercial government shall be visible from the street and visually highlighted by graphics. I don't think there's any issue with that. Anyone on that? Number 8, modifications to the exterior of historic buildings. Well, this doesn't apply. Correct?
Correct. It is not a historic building. It is old, but it's not historic.
Yeah, right. Okay. Buildings shall be designed to shield adjacent buildings from reflected heat and glare.
So we have proposed the TPO roofing is white color, so it's not going to generate more heat for the surrounding areas. So we are taking care of that from a flat roof perspective.
Okay. Any comments from the board members?
No.
Number 10, safe and adequate vehicle parking areas designed to minimize conflicts with pedestrians and bicycles shall be provided. I think we've already discussed that. Any further comments on that?
Nope.
Number 11, adequate shade shall be provided for sidewalks and pedestrian pathways using shade structure or vegetation where permitted by the city. I think they met their shade study requirements.
We did 52.3% shade.
Yeah.
With 50% being the minimum.
Correct. Thank you. Number 12, colors may conform to overall color palette and context of the downtown area. Yeah, it's Circle K. Desert colors. Right. Number 13, new buildings shall use materials, patterns, and elements that relate to the traditional context of the downtown area. I don't know, where it's a Circle K.
I think the proposed structure does a very good job on bringing the contemporary style. At the same time, we have proposed Cura stone, which mimics the traditional stone. So it's a beautiful blend of clean line with traditional stone. I think we align from an architectural standpoint with the surroundings that we have.
Board members, any comments? No. Okay, let's go down to 15.
Ms. Clement, I don't believe number 14 was covered.
Oh, street level activity. I'm sorry. Thank you. 24-hour street level activity encouraged by providing a mixture of retail, office, and residential uses within each building. Well, you're having your little picnic areas, your picnic table. I don't know.
This facility would operate 24/7.
There you go.
Yeah. Any
Knowing
comment?
the way this existing facility works, it'll have a mixture of retail, office, and residential for those 24 hours.
Okay, let's go to 15. Primary public entry shall be directly accessed from a sidewalk along a street rather than from a parking lot. Public access to commercial government shall be provided at sidewalk grade. Primary floor of may be elevated. Secondary. Okay, I think any comments on this one?
And yeah, just as a reminder, in that southeastern portion, there will be a new sidewalk connection coming from Congress Street, heading north to the facility, as well as from the Greenway.
Yeah, I would put the spirit of that requirement is to try to get facades closer to the street instead of having a parking between a public sidewalk in the front of the building. But in this case, I think we have the context and the use of the space kind of hinder the ability for that to even be applied.
Right.
Where I'm looking at it that the additional connection to the Greenway and kind of the way the building sets up currently is actually better than or in the current drawings is better than the current connection where you kind of have to cross the parking lot to get to the front door of Circle K as it is currently. So this plan is definitely an improvement over the current conditions, and I think meets the spirit of what that number 15 is trying to do.
Someone else want to take the next section?
Yeah, I got it from here, Carol. I'm not driving anymore.
Oh, okay, thank you, Chris.
And then now, so we have a set of site design standards, vehicular circulation. Just making sure we have adequate width sidewalks, and that we have vehicular ingress that isn't all janky. I think we meet those. This site's going to have a janky in and out anyway. there any comments on vehicular circulation?
Is there a traffic light at the intersection? I don't recall.
Yes, there's, a traffic controlled intersection with a slip lane yield on that northern side.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
I think this is the only part I might have an additional comment on. Back to a point you were all looking at earlier, is that at the very corner, the southwest corner of the site, where the kind of crosswalk activity is, that's a heavily used pedestrian crosswalk, and I know you're going to get cross-through traffic. I know you want to discourage traffic through the gas filling bays, but I think there may need to maybe a recommendation on this, on whatever approval, if we make one, would be to kind of look at that area again and see if you can provide some sort of safe haven or some way for pedestrians to get into that site, because you know they're going to go through that corner, especially if you have that gap in the planting there. They're going to go through that corner. So if we can plan ahead and maybe accommodate some of that movement somehow, or at least make it aware on the plan, then that might be ultimately better for the overall use sequence of that corner. It's heavily used. There's a lot of people crossing that corner every day. It's actually a very dangerous pedestrian location, in my opinion. You have that little pork chop and then a small yield, and no one's really looking when they're doing that yield. They're just they're pressing the gas pedal to get on the frontage road.
Yeah, that island, and then they cross everybody. Yeah. Yep. I don't know. Yeah, I agree, sort of, Chris. It flagged. I was flagged by it. Go, oh, people are going to trample through there. Just because it's always the shortest distance to the door. Could you do conveyance culverts and bridge over it? I see that I understand dumping people into the parking area, the gas area, but
we could separate the water harvesting areas so that it's flat across there. That wouldn't be a problem because those water harvesting areas are already pretty shallow.
Yeah, and it's mostly sheet flow across there anyway, right?
Yeah, so they could be separated to, so that it's flat. We could go as far as separating the plants a little bit also. But I do hesitate to put a full like concrete connection. Again, just because it's not the movement that we're trying to encourage through the site. I mean, we could make it easy for them to trample through, but not.
Or what about back to that idea, just a curved railing sort of on the arc of the curve there. So they have to go over the little fence, Yeah, so it doesn't even have to be, it doesn't have to be that long.
Right, something right
Just
behind the
throw
return.
of the arc.
Yeah, I think that I would rather do that than allow, than encourage pedestrians to go through there. We would want to put it on the right of way side of the curve so that vehicles don't hit it too. But some sort of an open railing, I think is very possible.
Yeah, a little closer to the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So they don't have any. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Just like that. Yeah. I think that might be what Chris, what do you think of that idea? Anybody else too? Everybody's been so quiet today.
I'm okay with that. I think you're gonna either discourage pedestrian movement or
And, you know, if you want to do something a little nice, because it is the Rio Nuevo, something a little decorative or something, that would be lovely. Would be an opportunity.
And my understanding looking at this plan and then the existing conditions is between a sidewalk, kind of where it's showing white, there's riprap. And then it's going to be the basin that you're putting in. Am I reading that correctly?
The basin is going to be a little in from the rock that you see right there.
Yeah.
Usually
And-
it's a 6-inch recovery and then it starts sloping is what city typically asks for, is my understanding.
Yeah, you can see on
it's
this
just on
plan.
the plans, it doesn't show that in the surfacing.
So that's out in the right of way, and we're not proposing improvements. The
Right.
right of way. You know, we can leave it, we could remove it and put down matching DG to match on site. The city is not going to want for us to plant in it and increase their maintenance responsibilities.
Right.
But yeah, our landscape, our formal landscape buffer yard happens to the inside of that.
Yeah. So what I'm getting at is I think that rock actually discourages people walking. They have to walk through that rock first, and then it's the basin.
I agree.
And so that looks pretty chunky.
actually I want to. I'd almost want to
Oh, great.
disagree with that.
Yeah.
Disagree with that last statement that the city wouldn't want you to plant that right away. There is a provision in the code that half of your landscape border can happen within the right of way. So you have 5 feet of play within that right of way on that corner if you need extra space. That's something that happens quite frequently. And this may be the opportunity to expand some planting and cut out some of your pinch points there. Has that been investigated?
This is a yeah, Chris, I agree. This is a great photograph. People are definitely going to trample through there. There's no doubt in my mind.
This is a photo of the existing Circle K.
Right.
So we can explore with the city to put, like you're saying, to split the buffer yard. We've done that in the past also, with mixed success. But we would need to ask for permission to do that.
I actually
Right, you
think
have,
that
you have to get permission from DOT, from the landscape architecture at DOT. But I'm starting to lean towards this is such a high profile corner. Why would you not expand that landscaping on the corner there to create that visual appeal for your retail client?
So the process, members of the board, is a right-of-way permit, which is just to request granted access to perform work within the right-of-way. And those are typically granted for right-of-way planting for landscaping borders. I would point out that the right-of-way line to the left is a ADOT managed right-of-way, and I'm not sure what the process is on right-of-way permits or landscaping improvements within that space.
In my experience, it's not a difficult approval. It just takes time, lots of time. So that's probably the more difficult part of it.
Right.
It'd probably cause you a time delay on your project. But it'd be an interesting thing to recommend or have you guys investigate more. I'm not going to direct that, but there's an opportunity there to maybe. I think that switchover might be where that notch is where the right of way changes direction. But if that's the case, then you might be stuck. but it's something that might help with that kind of pedestrian, either a pedestrian conflict or pedestrian access on that corner, help mitigate some of that. If you maybe can look at that again and see if there's an opportunity.
Yeah, there's something that can be done that might improve, green it up, and also stop pedestrians from going across there.
Yeah, road choice, that work fine.
Yeah, I think that's a real concern.
Okay, so I'm hearing that we can definitely look into that with
Thank you.
ADOT for that planting, and could you clarify if we're able to do additional plantings in there? Is it the opinion of the board that is suitable for stopping the pedestrians? And or are we still looking for the handrail also? Because I think that the handrail is something that we can do without question on our site. And then the question would be if we're able to do the plants with ADOT. And I don't know the answer to that.
The thing with plants, eventually they get big enough to stop people, but they go in as 1 and 5 gallons and they're small. So right from the get-go, they start getting trampled and then they have a slow death because they're getting continuously trampled.
I agree with that. I do think that the rail would probably be more effective in impeding pedestrian flow through that corner. They're going to have to walk through the rock, then the rail, then the landscape basin.
Right.
To get in. And I think if you're just going to expand the landscaping into that rock, it's actually going to kind of visually shorten the cut through in a way. I think that the easiest thing would be to put railing in. I know that we're not always looking for the easiest thing, but that might be the most effective in stopping pedestrians.
And there's some, you could inexpensively make the rail slightly a little bit more decorative than just a pipe rail. That would be nice. It is a entryway. It's, you're coming off the freeway there. So
We can look at the similar aesthetics from the building and the landscaping and come up with some sort of rail design.
There's
a little
artwork
elevated.
right across the street. The corner that's cut off across the street there, there's artwork right there. You might pick up on something on that. That would be. Oh,
I think we can figure something out
yeah.
that looks nice.
The Pueblo Deco design, that's a form liner in the concrete, that's I think that would be lovely. Something, whatever. Understated, no big deal, just a little something.
So to clarify on this corner, you have a landscape border, correct? That's code required. So you have a planted opaque screen or semi-opaque screen, or are you how are we meeting the requirements of the City of Tucson landscape border? There's an opportunity here if we're talking about a railing that code section also, you could put a CMU block wall up, you could do something else within that to still meet code requirements, and you could do that to discourage your unsafe pedestrian movement.
That's good. Yeah, that's a good idea, Chris. Yeah.
I'm hesitant to say I want to obscure that pedestrian movement, but at the same time, I understand the safety version of that moving pedestrians into that corner is not the greatest spot. But
I like that. Chris, I think you had a really good idea there with a wall, and make it seat wall height so people can sit on it. 20 inches tall.
People are going to sit on. Well, it's going to be 30 because that's the code. Would be the code. If it's going to be used for code, it needs to be of that height.
Does it have to be?
I believe so. It needs to be.
Okay.
if you're using a screen wall, it's a 30-inch screen.
That's nice, though.
I'm not 100% sure from memory. I don't have it open in front of me. If
Isn't it a maximum of 30? Well, I don't know. I can't remember
I can't
either,
remember
Chris.
it right off the top of my head, but there's a provision that you can use landscape material to create that, or you can use walls or fences. I just don't have it open in front of me. So that's something that I would encourage the applicant to explore.
You know, it'd be nice architecturally, use that same rock facade cladding that you have on your new building and carry that out onto a wall or something like that, you know? Think of it architecturally, just a thought.
Yeah, I think that this is something that we can explore working with architecture, working with the safety and security teams with Circle K, and put something nice together that is visually pleasing, as a deterrent for pedestrians, and is something that that the store can keep safe and secure out on that corner also.
Yeah.
And the wall height for vehicle use areas, whenever that's employed, is a 30-inch minimum.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
it'd be a leaner or just a little wall, a little screen wall.
Yeah,
okay.
It'd be something to screen, something to something to prohibit that pedestrian movement.
Right.
But yeah, we can work with architecture and with the landscape architect on something that sort of blends in, that's nice looking.
So just quickly, Erin, relative to this image, where would that wall or railing happen? Is it right about where the curb is, or are we closer to the edge of the sidewalk? I'm trying to compare against the proposed.
Yeah, it would really be close to where that existing curb is.
Of the parking lot, right?
Interior.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in concrete. Where that car's driving, it would be closer to that.
Gotcha.
Right.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and then our landscaping is on the white truck and black trailer side of that, once that is all removed. But yeah,
it's a landscaping company.
Yeah, the space between the white truck and the curb is about where the landscaping would go, and then that wall would be, or that fence, whatever, that barrier would be about where that curb is that you could see right there.
Yeah, that's sort of broken up.
Yeah, it'll be replaced.
I know.
That'll all be taken out. But yeah, that's sort of the visual distance that you'd be looking at.
That would be that curved line in the vertical plane there on the corner would be nice, of a barrier wall, a concrete wall. I like that idea the best, better than the railing idea, better than trying to do it with plants. Little masonry wall type thing.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk with the owners and their security team about that.
Great. All right, so we're still going through those checklist items, right? Oh, okay.
Kind of think we were hitting number 2 at the same time we were hitting number 1 there.
Yeah, we were. Okay, so let's go on to 3.
Screening.
Oh, that's right. You can read it now, Chris. Good.
Yeah, I can.
Cool.
Well, I wouldn't say I can read it. I can see my screen. The reading part's definitely up to question. Employee parking, all these things I think are pretty much code related. There's a parking garage nearby that I'm not sure if that parking garage is open. So if there has to be overflow space, but I think there's plenty of parking on this site. It is a shame we couldn't. I'll give a little personal opinion. I don't think it's part of this thing, but I wish gas stations can almost flip around a little bit. That the building could be a little more street centric, and then doing the access of filling and pumping your gas could be around the back. But that's a personal problem.
Regarding the number of parking spaces, we are meeting the parking code, and we're not requesting any reductions in the number of spaces. Yeah.
Has there been any investigation of allowing off-site or negotiating off-site parking for employees?
No, we've not looked into negotiating that. There's ample space on site for employees also. I think that's something we could look into for sure. Might be a nice benefit to offer to them. We also don't have too many employees at one time.
Yeah.
So.
Correct. What else we got under parking here? I don't think we have. I think there's another section. Plazas and open spaces. We covered this earlier in the meeting.
Yeah,
I think there's spaces. You've created a space with tables and sitting areas, and the bike connection is a. I'm excited about the bike connection. I know, just for full disclosure, I was on the design team that did the original design for that section of El Paso Greenway, even though it wasn't installed yet, and the connection to the Circle K existing was always very difficult to connect to and create a space. So I'm really excited to hear that you guys have figured out a way to create a connect way, especially if it ends up being extended south too. That would be a great benefit to that facility.
Of course, we're excited about that as well. I'm glad it's all working out.
Yeah. When I heard this was going in, I was like, yes, that's going to make that whole area a whole lot cleaner, functionally. So thank you for doing that and creating the drinking fountain and bike station there. I think that's a good win-win for private and public interaction.
And there's a picnic table located by where the bike racks, right? On that side.
Yeah, the picnic table is located on the other side of the store. Where the food service and the doors and stuff are located.
It provides a little separation from the street.
Right.
Okay, right. And is there shade for that area? I didn't catch that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
good, excellent.
Yeah. The enhanced shade is on both sides.
Yeah, that's right. You said that. Okay, thank you.
I don't think this property is blocking any historic properties. There is one to the south of this, but it's across the street. It's got pretty good neighborhood linkage. I'd say, especially with the greenway right there, and then that's the new greenway, right? That's the greenway
Right.
away
I hadn't really seen that before. Nice.
And there was discussion at one time to put a hawk crossing across Congress at that location. I'm not sure where that ended up, but that'd be really cool to see too.
Yeah, that Circle K is just a little island there, isn't it? Whew.
Yeah. We got streetscape, which I think the existing sidewalks in there are pretty generous, and there isn't any attempt to pinch those down at all. And there's pretty good connections. I think this one statement, priority to given to pedestrians. I think that the discussion we were having earlier, I think exhibits that idea that, you know, preference to pedestrians, but safety is always more important than deference to a pedestrian. So I think we're keeping pedestrians in mind by shifting them around the corner a little bit. Any comments on that? Hearing none. Shade, I think we hit that at 52%, correct?
Yeah, 53.
Is there anywhere to squeeze in another tree?
You know, I was wondering about that. What about a little bit of shade, an alley type effect towards the greenway path? Could you get one more tree in there? I think you could. Right where it says drainage swale, but yeah, right north of utilities.
Yeah, we would love to. However, there is a public water line back there, and
Okay.
yeah, and that would put that within that public water line easement. That's that dashed line you can sort of see.
Yeah.
And if you zoom really far in, I don't have my reading glasses on, but there's something inches water back there.
It's a 2-inch water line.
Yeah, and that's been shifted south a little bit, and now there's a Tucson water collector line back there. Actually, I think that line work is just wrong. So
and that's your grease trap, right? The 3 circles.
Yeah, the 3 circles is the grease trap. So we're full of pipes back in that area. But I completely agree with you. That would have been nice to have.
One more tree. Maybe
But,
the green belt people can put it in. Do they do landscaping with?
Yeah,
sections?
there's extensive landscaping in there. That's
Yeah,
actually one
okay,
of the,
maybe they'll pick it up.
Mhm.
kind of like the design that was in there before you guys ended up taking half of the property for the Circle K, but I'm biased because I drew it. I think that's the end of our
Well, Chris, I guess I have to thank you because I am a huge
further
fan of the
discussion?
Greenway and run it all the time. So excited to see this one go in as well.
Yeah. Oh,
Not to get sideways on the Greenway, but there's kind of a cool feature in there that this is the one section of the Greenway that actually has old remnant rail lines still exposed. So
nice.
300 feet from Congress has actual railroad tracks still existing that are visible. So it's kind of a cool little section.
We were looking north there, that last shot.
Yeah, that's
That would be south. That's south.
Oh, okay, I was turned around. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, it's gonna improve this corner so much. Thank you.
so. If we have any other discussion, we should have that now. Otherwise, let's kind of move into a motion. So if we're ready, rest of the board.
How should we word our with the? I mean, I think that we should have the motion, accepted or whatever the terminology, with the recommendation of a 30-inch screening structure, or what? How should we do that? Just as a recommendation. Chris, you're always good at this.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm thinking of the wording. I'd want to, the intent of it would be I'd want the applicant to explore pedestrian movements on that corner and explore
Right.
looking at using a 30-inch screen wall instead of landscape alone
Right.
on that corner
To
to enhance the pedestrian safety and moving pedestrians to the designated areas.
and augment the architectural feature, you know, the landscape to augment. It would be visually really
Sure.
clean. Yeah, we should say something about that too. Pedestrian safety and visual interest, visual.
Correct. Interaction with the street. I mean, that's part of our purview is that there's some sort of architectural
Yeah, right.
connectivity between the street and the structure. So bringing maybe that whatever material that lower corner was of the buildings,
Yeah,
split face or the stone.
Yeah, the rock stick on stuff.
whatever-
What do you call
whatever-
that?
Whatever the highlight element on that building was I'd like to see some sort of allusion to that on that screen wall, just to tie the property together from front to back. I think that would help a lot, and or potentially some columning or
Yeah,
some sort of visual articulation on that screen wall. But that's a little bit that's kind of up to the
okay.
architect and design team to come
Yeah.
up with. I think there's an opportunity there to do something nice to kind of dress up that corner and still code related item, but still do something interesting. I think those are the only two items that I caught during this discussion. Lighting was good, shade was fine. I might recommend to the design team that they look at night lighting on that back table. That's going to be a very desirable nuisance in the long run.
Oh, good point.
But as long as you're providing, security and safety lighting, that's at the end of our purview. Front of your buildings definitely can be lit. You have good signage. I think that pedestrian and screening on the corners are our only recommendation. Anyone else have any others? I wasn't taking notes today. No? Who's going to do our motion today?
I'm working on it. I'm writing it down.
Well, while she's doing that, let's say I'm glad I see this project moving forward. It's been in the rumor mill for a couple of years now, so it'd be good to get the circulation and kind of the visual quality of that corner cleaned up a little bit, especially with the proposed new development directly across the street. That'd be nice to have some new looking stuff at that gateway into town.
Okay, how's this sound, you guys, for that one part? Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, with the building design standards set forth in UDC section, this isn't it yet, but not subject, with the following recommendation. In order to improve pedestrian safety and enhance the site aesthetics through the use of a 30-inch tall architectural feature, screen wall, replicating materials proposed with the new building, something like that.
Yeah, just add the location at the southwest corner of the site. And
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you.
Is the applicant able to speak during this part, or do I need to, or is this board only?
No, you can.
we're not in anything formal right now, Aaron.
Okay.
Yeah, help us out here.
Yeah, I think you've nailed it. In order to improve the pedestrian safety, enhance the site aesthetics, use of 30-inch tall architectural feature, replicating materials proposed on the main structure. I'd like to omit the screen wall portion or somehow reword that such that we have a little more flexibility to
Okay.
work with architecture and work with landscape. So I think that you nailed it with the architectural feature.
Okay, take out screen wall. You don't like, so I was wondering about that too myself. Okay.
Yeah, it may end up being
Yeah.
a screen wall, but I don't want to limit our design options at this point.
Okay.
Carol, I'd recommend that we change the language to that provide a physical barrier.
Physical barrier. That's
Okay.
good.
To improve and enhance the site aesthetic through the use of a physical barrier.
Yes. Perfect. Thank you for that.
Of a physical barrier.
That we could even add a physical barrier, a decorative railing, and or screen wall. So I think both of those would fit into code, right? And we could you could do a railing that doesn't have anything to do with the landscape border, but you'd still have your 10-foot landscape border. If you do a screen wall, that screen wall can it can jump into that landscape border a little bit and be part of your landscape border. So I think both of those options will give you guys some flexibility.
Yes, that's correct.
So plants and screen wall, you want me to use that wording?
The
Plants and
the
screen
landscape
wall?
the plants are already there per code, Carol. They can't get away from using plants in that location.
Railing.
It's just defining what the physical barrier we're referencing would be. Is that we recommend a railing or a 30-inch screen wall.
Okay. Okay, so this is it. Okay. With the recommendations to paraphrasing the beginning, with the following recommendations to improve pedestrian safety and enhance the site aesthetics through the use of a physical barrier, comma, i.e. railing, metal railing, or 30-inch tall screen wall. Echoing the materials proposed with the main building, or I don't know, is that too much? These are always so hard.
I've got
No, that's fine. Maybe
proposed
instead of echoing, just use reference.
Shared on the screen, if I may read that, members of the board. A 30-inch high architectural feature using materials consistent with the main structure on the site shall be provided along the southwest edge of the site to provide a physical barrier, enhancing safety by limiting pedestrian vehicle conflicts in the fueling area and to enhance the aesthetics of the site.
Oh, awesome.
You nailed it. Applicant concurs.
Yes, let's do that with the following conditions. A 30-inch high architectural feature using materials with the main structure on the site shall be provided along the southwest edge of the site to provide physical, enhancing safety by limiting. Yeah, that's good. What do you think?
Mr. Chair, members of the DRB, there needs to be a reference. Oh, there it is, along the southwest edge of the site. Okay.
I do a lot of rezoning conditions. So these
Yeah.
are-
Yeah.
May I suggest removing the words enhancing safety? Because if it does not, would that run into any issues? If someone gets injured, if someone
Correct.
to provide a physical barrier,
A physical
Limiting-
pedestrian, let's say physical pedestrian
pedestrian
barrier.
barrier.
Physical barrier.
Well, it's not a
It's gonna-
car.
It's
a
going to keep cars from
pedestrian.
driving through there.
Well,
Maybe.
I think you can remove pedestrian from that beginning statement to provide a physical barrier limiting pedestrian vehicle conflicts in the fueling area.
yeah, but we are specifically, this is for pedestrian barriers. It's not a vehicle. I don't know.
But the context of the barriers to limit pedestrian vehicle conflicts, I think we're handling it there.
Okay,
I
okay.
think the one element we're missing is that we're still looking at the 30-inch high architectural feature.
And railing, if we want to.
Well, let's take the 30-inch high out of it totally. We're on to add an architectural feature using materials. So if it's a railing, it's going to have to meet railing requirements, which would be 42 inches. If it's a physical screen wall, then it would be 30 inches or 42
Right.
inches,
Okay,
depending
good.
on their safety and requirements. The height of it is inconsequential. It's the material. So we just want an architectural element, architectural feature. So it can be a railing. I think that implies railing and or
Yes,
screen wall.
I agree, Chris. Yep.
So yeah, I'm good with this one. Let's have someone, any other comments? I'm ready to take this one.
Mr.
Want to give it the
Chairman?
old read through, Carol, since you've drafted it?
Well, no, Gabriel did.
Yeah.
He did a good job. Okay.
Take credit for someone else's work, Carol. Come on. It's the USA.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion as follows. The Design Review Board has reviewed the applicant's project for compliance with Rio Nuevo Area Design Criteria and recommends to the Planning and Development Services Director approval, finding the project in compliance with the building design standards set forth in the UDC section 5.12.7.d with the following recommendation. Number 1, an architectural feature using materials consistent with the main structure on the site shall be provided along the southwest edge of the site to provide a physical barrier limiting pedestrian vehicle conflicts in the fueling area and to enhance the aesthetics of the site.
Can you hear a second on that? Or any discussion?
I'll second the motion. This is great.
Motion seconded by Grace. All in favor?
I
Hi.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Sounds like you guys got a thumbs up.
Thank you all. I really appreciate your involvement and your time this morning. It's a good conversation.
Thank you, Erin. And project team, I just wanted to ask you to make the modifications to your design package to provide, for this architectural feature on the southwest corner as soon as possible so I can issue the decision notice by the PDSD director and be able to stamp approve for Rio Nuevo area review before we move forward.
Thank you. It'll be first on our priority for next week. Everything else is ready for resubmittal to the city. So we'll make this adjustment, get coordinated, and then be able to get that over to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gabriel, can you go back to the agenda?
Usually we move on to staff announcements.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, members of the DRB, the next case in line for you to review in 2 weeks, it's the Bata restaurant on Tool Avenue under proposed outdoor seating in the back.
Which restaurant?
It's called Bata.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Some Tool.
Right. So they're right next to the railroad. So in the north side of their building, next to the railroad, they're proposing outdoor seating.
That project's going to be an interesting one within the context of the things we need to review, and parking and those types of challenges are going to become part of the conversation. But I swear, Maria, they already put that back patio in. Did they already build it and they're coming to us as a secondary? I swore I saw contractors back there on that patio.
Oh my God. Okay.
But this is a really cool space. I want to see how they approach it, in that vehicles are no longer on 7th Street. There's some parking there, but I think the ultimate idea is that the city's going to get rid of vehicles on that, and it's a pedestrian and bike crossing across Aviation at that, and the railroad tracks there at that location. That's how this space is going to be used. So I'm interested to see how they engage that in conversation.
So
And,
are you
Whether or
saying
not
it,
this,
Go ahead.
does it connect to the parkway?
only by pedestrian and bicycles only. Vehicles are no longer crossing the railroad tracks or accessing
Okay.
Peraza at that location.
That's cool.
Yeah, but the pedestrian bicycle is at grade, crossing the railroads, right? Yeah, must be.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's coming in the next DRB meeting.
Oh,
is
that'll be
on
fun.
20th
Of September.
of September.
Huh.
Should be a fun one.
Wow. Yeah, it should be a good one. Awesome.
So far, the 4 of you can attend on the 20th
20 of December.
of September.
Yeah, let me look.
Yeah,
I
I
should be
think
available
so.
for that.
I think so.
Great. Thank you so much. And the other announcement, Jody Brown, our historic preservation officer, has left the city of Tucson. So we're going to be engaging on trying to find another historic preservation officer soon. But in the meanwhile, I'm going to be managing historic preservation cases with the assistance of heavy assistance of consultants. So for future DRB projects where historic preservation is involved, like in the case of Bata, I'm still trying to figure out how we're going to do this. I usually have the HPO attending the DRB meeting, but we'll figure it out. That's all I have.
And we're currently looking for additional members on this board still.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Stevie. Yes, we just received yesterday the letter of interest from an architect. His name is Kate Hayes from Dust, I believe, Architecture. So I forwarded his request to the boards and commissions for mayor and council consideration, and to Ward 1. He resides in Ward 1.
And then we still need a contractor.
Yes, that one is the one that is turning to be more tricky. So if you guys know of anybody that would like to serve as a contractor in the DRB, it would be wonderful.
Yeah, a GC, a general contractor is what would be really good, right?
Correct.
Mm.
Okay.
So somebody that can step on Mr. Kapler's shoes.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, no other announcements. Let's call this one to a close at 9:07.
Thank you
Okay.
so very much.
Thank,
Oh, Gabriel?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I believe you have to motion to adjourn and have it seconded.
We've never done that in the past.
Oh, sorry. It's we were doing the Roberts rule stuff.
No, we're not full Robert's rules.
Yeah.
At least as far as I understand, because we run pretty loose.
Gabriel,
I
it was,
I make a motion
Gabriel.
for adjournment.
Yeah.
We could make it something we do from now on. But no, normally chairs have the power to adjourn the meeting.
Gabriel, it was a pleasure having you join us today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Pleasure being here. I'll continue to, I think, keep learning from Maria and more take the lead on these. But yeah, it was like very nice providing the sort of visuals for the presentation. It's fun.
Good. Yeah.
And-
It's interesting, isn't it?
Interesting is quite the word for it.
That's such a ridiculous word, really. It covers so much.
It's one my wife and I have decided we want to try to eliminate from our
Right.
vocabulary because it's so it's non-descriptive, but it's so powerful of a word. Like it can really be a slight or it could be a very positive.
Yeah.
It's 4 syllables. It's got to be good.
Interesting. I had to count them out on my fingers just to check it. But Gabriel, could you do one thing for us since you brought up Robert's rules? I've never really looked. I don't know if we're bound to. We've never followed them, but if there's something hidden in our purview that we need to follow them closer, let us know. I don't.
Yeah. Thank you.
I prefer not to because they're just I'd have to bring that little book to every meeting and make sure we're following protocols. But if there's
Agreed.
something in there, we need to change our ways if it is. But I don't think it is.
I can, well, I'll check with legal and see. Half the meeting, so the motions were all based on Robert's rules with a motion and the second. And so I know typically with public boards and commissions and meetings, the adjournment also comes with a motion and a second and a vote to adjourn. I know, like typically I'd say that with like the Villanueva board, their meetings.
Yeah, I'm on a couple PAG committees and they just end them. So if you can just verify that just to make sure we're following the rules and not going to get in trouble a couple of years from now for having 45 meetings that we're not following the rules, that'd be appreciated.
Will do. I'll
So Gabriel,
look into that and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, let's just send an email to the boards and commissions and ask the question if the DRB needs to have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Will do.
Okay. And we'll let you know at the next meeting, Mr. Chair, members of the DRB.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.